Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host Raghunath and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York City, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show, and welcome to Monday. Where's the rest of the words to that? That way, a Monday morning. Oh, Monday morning, you came without warning. We call today Makeover Monday. It's a day that we get to examine last week's life, habits, choices, and we say, you know what? Could have done better here, could have done better there, want to upgrade here. What can I do differently this week? Whatever happened last week is over. That's good news. And if I want to change my life, it can start today by some different choices. And so we like to do is our Makeover Monday crew, and we do have a crew of Makeover Monday people especially. They write down their explicit goals for this week. It's almost like a New Year's resolution. And we refer to that list every morning. And it's these things that we get in the habit of doing on a regular basis start to change us. Like coming on live. Some people, it's their Monday morning goal, Kaustubha, to come on live every morning. Do you check out the Makeover Monday thread on Discord? These guys
Occasionally.
should drop in there and put it. Mara, do you?
Sometimes.
You lie. You lying
liar.
You should go on that Makeover Monday thread and put up some goals.
Maybe that should be my makeover. Every Monday I will go to the Makeover Monday
thread
and get some inspiration. Yes. Okay.
But I'm going to continue just putting it out there. No phone. No checking that phone. So if anybody looks at my thing like, oh, it looks like Raghunath's awake and liking things, you should know that I'm breaking one of my vows. Not liking stuff till later in the day. No liking. Just I wake up and chant. Just wake up and chant. Okay. Here's my other Makeover Monday. You ready? No hitting the snooze button.
Well, you deserved it this morning. Sometimes
today. Well, I'm starting now. I hit snooze like 11 times this morning.
Okay.
But now, starting Makeover Tuesday, no hitting snooze means when you get up, you get up. Practice that. If you're not good at getting up, here's what you do: you just get up. You just get up and you stand up.
They say that's one of the good qualities of the dog. One of the several good qualities that it wakes up like instantly.
My dog.
Well, Gus is a whole nother thing.
My dog just like gets up.
Yeah, that's a very different type of dog. But the dog.
My dog needs a mission in life.
It's immediately alert,
I never trained it.
It's not too late for Gus.
It's too late.
Okay.
It's much too late. Mara, do you have any makeover? And you know what else my thing is? Because we have teacher training for the next few weekends.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something I don't do good with, Mara. All you can eat. I don't do well with all you can eat. I need to limit not all you can eat. It should be good. This is what you eat. This is it. It's a bowl. You fill it to that. When you're done with that, guess what? You're done.
That's the key. It's one of the keys to health is like, what fits in your palms. You don't eat more than that, they say, right?
What fits in your
palms?
A
meal. Yeah, something like that. You get a certain bowl, a certain size, and then that's like as much as you eat.
Well, I'm glad you cracked that code at a young age. I'm still going with, hey, it's all you can eat. So anyway, that's what I'm going to work on that this week too. Okay. So Mara, please check in today, Mara. Check in with what you'd like to, and Kaustubha. Some of your Makeover Mondays on the thread. So anyway, welcome everybody. And yesterday, if you came off of yesterday's show, that was such a fun show yesterday. We had Mike D from the Beastie Boys and Eddie Stern. If you haven't listened to that show, go back and listen to it. It was a really nice blend of like obscure music trivia meets, him sharing his story about Krishna Bhakti and going to Vrindavan. It was really cool. I was really happy with the show after it was done.
You know, for me, it was like the three of us used to see each other every day. And we were also, Eddie was the president of the Broome Street Temple, Mike was the secretary, and I was the vice president.
You guys had your own little Chaz going on there.
It was like, that was the board of directors, you know, and part of the board of directors. But the meetings were more or less like that interview, you know, just like nonstop laughter. And I hadn't since Mike moved to the West Coast, I hadn't seen him in quite a few years. But
West Coast will do that to people.
Do what?
Just bring them into peculiar Californian isolation.
Oh, okay, but in any case, instantly as soon as like we said hello, we were right back in that place. So it was fun for me.
That was sweet. I went to California. I never talked to you.
So, you see?
Right?
Yeah, there you go.
It's a thing.
Okay.
It's so sunny. You're like,
you just forget everything.
Forget everything. Everything's great in the material world. All these people on the East Coast thinking about life.
Doing stuff.
Complaining about everything and thinking they're fixing the world. All they need to do is wake up early and go outside. It's so nice here. No, there's no water there. You live in a desert.
Okay.
All right, let's get on with class. We have some good
go.
stuff. We're going into the first canto, chapter 16.
Yeah. Text 24 today.
Text 24. Text 24. Yeah, that's where I am. Okay, so first we will read our magical invocation. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayetta. Kaustubha corrected me. He's saying I always say diraye. I thought it was diraye. I thought the T was silent. So it's udirayet. If there's a Sanskrit pundit on the show, you can tell me if I'm actually wrong. Or if
We don't need a Sanskrit pundit. We just have to look at the verse.
I thought it was silent. You know?
Where did you ever hear about a silent T in Sanskrit? Where did that come from?
Something I might have created.
Okay.
Creative person.
Okay.
Nasta preshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service to the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnanatamurandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Milatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. All right, we're in it to win it here today. Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 1, Canto 1, Chapter 16, Text 23. O Mother
Text
Earth.
24.
Text 24. Mother.
Yeah. Now it's Dharma speaking to the earth.
So
And
Dharma,
saying, why are you crying? Why are you suffering?
what's up?
Could it be this, could it be that?
Mother, you are the reservoir of all riches. Please inform me of the root cause of your tribulations, she's speaking to the earth, by which you have been reduced to such a weak state. I think that the powerful influence of time, which conquers the most powerful, might have forcibly taken away your fortune, which was adored by even the demigods.
What was that fortune, Raghu? Hot seat, right off the bat.
What was that fortune?
What was the fortune that the earth had that even the demigods were, eager for?
Amrita?
No.
Nectar? Jewels?
No.
Petroleum?
No.
Virgin
I don't think that
forests.
demigods are
Virgin
interested in petroleum.
forests. Virgin forest. The demigods wanted the redwood trees. What did the demigods want from the earth?
The clue would be to go back and look at text 23.
O Mother Earth, the Lord Hari incarnate. O Mother Earth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari incarnated himself as Lord Sri Krishna, just to unload your heavy burden. All his activities here are transcendental, and they cement the path of liberation. You are now bereft of his presence. Okay, Lord Hari's creation.
Right, of all the
We had a
planets.
new rule that we don't hot seat each other unless we tell each other what the hot seat answer is before the show, so it appears like we're smarter than we are.
But that's not hot.
Agreement.
That's just a seat. It's not. There's no heat to it. So in any case, so of all the planets, you know, even the higher planets, even the beautiful celestial planets, even those planets where the sages dwell beyond Lord Indra's planets, of all those planets, Krishna came to the earth. The earth had that benefit of Krishna running around, leaving his footprints all over it. So now he's saying,
He
you know,
goes to other planets as well.
sorry?
Krishna goes to other planets as well.
Not so much. Where is he going?
I thought he had I'm quoting Prabhupada, a road show where he just takes this.
That's
these
different
assets
universes.
to other places.
That's different universes. But in this universe, the planet that he came to was Earth.
Huh.
Right?
No, he didn't go to other planets.
All
Well,
right.
we're fortunate then.
We are.
The earthly deity in the form of a cow thus replied to the personality of Dharma in the form of a bull. O Dharma, whatever you have inquired for me shall be known to you. I shall try to reply to all those questions. Once you too were maintained by 4 legs, and you increased happiness all over the universe by the mercy of the Lord.
Mm.
So Dharma increases happiness.
Yeah.
Note to
Yeah,
self.
that's such an important point, right?
Wherever there's Dharma, there's happiness. If you have any success in your life, you should give the success to you're doing something dharmic generally. And then I'm talking about fun or even good fortune or a burst of good fortune. I'm like, we're doing really good right now. I mean, like a steady, solid type of happiness
Mm.
by inviting Dharma and living a dharmic way.
That's the formula, right? We think, oh, I'll be happy if I do this instead. But even if it's difficult, if you stick to that Dharma, then actually real happiness, you know, arises, right? Prabhupada says in the commentary, nice little quotes here. He says, happiness in the world depends proportionally on the maintenance of the dharmic principles, individually and collectively. And then he says, the best part of valor is to maintain the principles despite all kinds of odds. Right? Even it seems, oh, it's difficult to live this dharmic life. It's difficult to do the right thing right now. I'm very tempted to do something else. Come on, look at the odds. It's like it's, you know, but no, you do it anyway, right?
What's the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah, Yogesh, what is it? Yacha Yogeshwara Krishna. That wherever there's Krishna, wherever there's Arjuna, there'll certainly be. Want me to pull it up? Put me on the hot seat.
I have it if you want.
Mary's there. Mary, you on this?
Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion.
That's a great verse. Read that one more time, please. Just let it sink in here to my
Okay, let's hear it again.
Wherever there is Krishna, the master.
Who's speaking? This is Sanjaya speaking, the last verse?
Sanjaya speaking to Dhritarashtra.
Okay.
Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion.
So whenever you invite Krishna and Arjuna into your life, these are the things you're going to get.
You know what wasn't mentioned there, but what is being mentioned here is happiness, right? That when you have Krishna in your life, when you have the Dharma in your life, then naturally you become happy. That's actually going to come out in some of these later verses that we read. It's a nice point.
What's that other great verse in the Gita about Yashastra Vidhim Utstrija
Vartate Kamakarata?
Quote that verse. That's a great one.
Was that 10? No, 16.
He who disregards scriptural
end.
injunctions and acts according to his whims
Yeah.
receives neither happiness.
Yeah.
Yes,
Something
sir.
in the supreme destination.
Yeah.
Sasidim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim.
Yeah, you don't get perfection, nasidhim, nasukam, you don't get happiness, perfection, or the supreme destination. So by just disregarding Shastra and Dharma, not only do you not get perfection, you don't even become happy. So adding Dharma, adding Krishna to your life, you get what everybody actually wants anyway. You get this type of steady, long-term happiness. And we've seen that even people who are going through great distress, they feel a comfort, almost like Krishna is just holding them.
Yep. Yeah,
What to
that's
speak of the Param Gatim, the supreme destination.
all right.
And like I said,
Yeah.
can I cut you off one more time?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go. I was jumping in there, but you keep going.
Well, it's one of those things like I don't practice this. And a lot of people, especially people who are not into spiritual paths, they say, well, yeah, you're just hoping at the time of death. And this is how you cope with death, that at the time of death, you'll be taken care of. I don't do God for when I die, even though I think there's something there. I do spiritual life for today because my spiritual life today is benefited today. I'm not like hoping for some heaven, whatever happens when I die. But I like my spiritual life because spiritual life is wonderful today. What do you think about that, Mara? Isn't spiritual life is better? It's funner.
Yeah.
It's, we are having this program this weekend, Mara. If you're allowed to stop by, Mara, you're always invited. We're having the kirtan last night with Damodar Priya and my kids and all the teacher trainees. It was so nice to have kirtan again, publicly, and not a Zoom kirtan. And we built this outdoor deck. Jeff Eisenberg and Eric Noble and Josh Kane, they built this beautiful deck, and we were just having this kirtan.
Okay.
And it was so sweet just to hear everybody singing, and then just to tell these stories and everybody laughing, and then just to wind it down. It was just a sweet way to live. Even if there's no afterlife, it's just a sweet way to live. Some people struggle all the time with like, is this stuff true? Is this real? Did the Lord incarnate into a boar? Come on, But it's just a sweet way to, if you really boil it down, what a sweet way to live. Come together, you sing a song, you tell some stories, you take prasad. It's just sweet.
Maybe dance a little.
You dance a little. You watch Amalini dance around the room.
Is there a more innocent creature on the face of the earth, right?
Huh?
Is there a more innocent creature on the face of the earth than little Amalini?
No. Amalini is like the most innocent. She's like a doe dancing around the room. She's just inspired. She hears the kirtan. She just goes around. My poor little son goes around headbutting everybody and like punching in the back of their skull. But
that was his thing this weekend, punch of the day.
No, that's not his thing this weekend. That's what he does every day to me.
Punch of the day.
Bam! He welts up my arm.
He runs up to you, says punch of the day, and then he punches you.
Lugs you.
Okay.
I'm teaching him mixed martial arts. He's ruthless. Okay.
All right. Where are we? Text 25?
26 to 30 is all one verse.
So this is a whole list.
This is a beautiful list
of the qualities of Krishna that she was experiencing when he was there, present with her.
What resides in Lord Krishna?
Yeah.
In him reside truthfulness, cleanliness, intolerance of another's unhappiness. Oh, isn't that nice? Intolerance of another's happiness.
What's the word for that in Sanskrit? Let's take a look.
Codependent. No.
No, I don't believe it's codependent.
No. Intolerance for
daya, mercy.
Daya, you're compassionate.
Compassion, yeah.
When you hear someone's in pain, you care for their pain.
I once heard, I may be screwing it up. I think I got it right, though. There's different words for compassion, like kripa, right? Or mercy. Kripa, and then there's daya. Daya.
Is that where they get the vegan cheese from? Daya?
I have no idea. I've never even heard of it.
Mara? Vegan cheese? Daya? Anybody
I think it's spelled D-I-A-Y-A, though. It's spelled differently than the Daya here.
Okay.
But in any case, kripa means like the kind of compassion showed to an individual. And daya is like this all encompassing compassion for like humanity or for all living beings like that.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, in detail.
No, it's a good detail.
Yeah.
God is in the details, Kaustubha. The power to control anger. I could use that one. Self-satisfaction. I could use that one too. Straightforwardness. That'd be
a little bit of that.
All right, this is my whole new Makeover Monday. I'm just gonna.
This is a big one.
Steadiness of mind. I could use that one. Control of the sense organs. I like how they put that organ on the end of it instead of control of the senses. Responsibility, equality, tolerance, equanimity, means you're equal to all, faithfulness, knowledge, absence of sense enjoyment, leadership, chivalry. We're missing out on chivalry nowadays.
True.
Influence, the power to make everything possible, the discharge of all proper duty, the complete independence. Merrick, while I'm reading these, can you look up chivalry, please?
Yep.
You probably know it off the top of your head, but I'd like to hear Merriam-Webster's. Dexterity, look up that one too. It sounds like
All right,
flexibility.
do you want chivalry?
Chivalry and dexterity, please. Fullness of all beauty.
Yeah. Let's
Serenity.
work on that one.
Yeah. I've been working on that. Nothing's happening. Magnanimity.
Magnanimity.
Look up that one too, Mara. Determination. Perfection in all knowledge. So this is describing the Lord, what the Lord embodies, right?
Yes.
Proper execution. Does that, okay, that doesn't mean
That doesn't mean killing people.
murderous, okay? But he's pretty good at executing people.
It's true, actually. It does it properly as well.
Make sure the guillotine just drops. Possession of all objects of enjoyment. I don't get that. Joyfulness. I get that. Immovability. Fidelity. Fame. Worship. Pridelessness. Being as the personality of Godhead. Eternity. Huh?
And finally,
And finally, eternity and many other transcendental qualities, which are eternally present and never to be separated from Him, with a capital H. That personality of Godhead, the reservoir of all goodness and beauty, Lord Sri Krishna, has now closed his transcendental pastimes on the face of the earth. In his absence, the age of Kali has spread its influence everywhere. So I am sorry to see this condition of existence. Can we circle back to Mara and her dictionary?
sure.
What is chivalry officially?
Chivalry, courteous behavior, especially that of a man towards women.
Chivalry.
Chivalry.
It's also the combination of qualities expected of an ideal knight, especially courage, honor, courtesy, justice, and a readiness to help the weak.
There you go.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Some people wouldn't agree with that now. They'd say, you know what, we're all equal. No more chivalry. That's old school. Break down that system. Mara's carrying all these pots and pans in the door. I'm like, deal with it. Deal with it. We're all equal here. Figure it out. Figure it out. I want to empower you. Figure it out.
There, you're empowered. Go.
There you just go.
Okay, so there's a principle here that the earth is suffering, and she's saying, you know, it's Krishna's, he's left and the age of Kali has set in. All this positive, beautiful qualities have left, and all the negative qualities are setting in. So let's read a bit from the commentary.
Please. Are you going to read it?
Yeah,
Read,
if you
please.
would like me to.
Please.
The beauty and opulence of the world can be enhanced by the grace of the Lord and not by any man-made planning. Okay?
Man-made planning.
When the Lord, you know, in other words, I think what he's saying is we come up with all these plans. Hey, let's build a factory. Life's gonna get better then. Hey,
It'd be
we
great.
need automobiles. We need, you know, rocket ships. We need, you know, skyscrapers. We need smartphones.
Space projects.
A space project. So the beauty and the opulence of the world can be enhanced by the grace of the Lord, not by any man-made planning. It doesn't enhance the beauty and opulence of the world. When Lord Sri Krishna was present on this earth, the impressions of the special signs of his lotus feet were stamped on the dust. And as a result of this specific grace, the whole earth was made as perfect as possible. Okay, hot seat.
I thought we had a hot seat rule. Okay, go on.
Forget about that.
Hot me,
What
hot
are
me.
what are the impressions on Krishna's feet that are marking the earth?
Hit me with your best shot. The flag, the thunderbolt, the goad, the
Goad.
elephant goad.
Okay.
Flag, thunderbolt, goad, flag, thunderbolt, goad, acorn,
I don't think acorn was one of them.
flag, thunderbolt,
Ear
elephant.
of corn?
What am I missing, Mara? Help me out here. Flag, thunderbolt.
The chat board's trying to help, but I don't think. Oh, I'm not sure they're right. Swastika, fish,
Krishna
or conch
drew
shell.
to this. No, he didn't have a swastika on his foot, did he?
I don't think
would-
so.
that-
It
that
was
would
just
be
up on the
like
chat
complete-
board.
That would be like,
Fish sounds
we're going
right.
to call out
Conch
Krishna
shell.
on Facebook for having that swastika on his foot.
It was appropriated from him. It's not his fault.
Yeah, they appropriated the swastika. Oh, the fish, perhaps, Goethe says.
Fish? Conch
Okay.
shell?
Goethe. Conch
Okay.
shell. Did I say conch?
Maybe someone can look it up. I don't even know. I was just putting you on the hot seat. Is that
Wait a
fair to
second.
do? Put someone on the hot seat when you
That's
don't
not
know
called a hot
yourself?
seat then. That's called, Raghunath, I don't know this. Do you know this? That's what that's called. The hot seat's
Okay.
when you know it and you're trying to stump your buddy.
All right.
Interesting.
So that was just an inquiry.
It was an inquiry.
Okay, so now Prabhupada continues. In other words, the rivers, the seas, the forests, the hills, and the mines, which are the supplying agents for the necessities of men and animals, they were fully discharging their respective duties. Therefore, the riches of the world surpassed all the riches of all other planets in the 3 planetary systems of the universe, when Krishna was running around all over it. One should therefore ask that the grace of the Lord always be present on the earth, so that we may be favored by his causeless mercy and be happy, having all necessities of life. One may ask, how can we detain the Supreme Lord on this earth after his mission is fulfilled and he's left this earth for his own abode? Okay, hot seat, brother. What's the answer to that question?
Say the question again so I can read it.
Oh, you see, you weren't even paying attention. You were over there on the chat
I was
board.
preparing. No, I
You
was
were
not on the chat board.
Busted.
I was
Just
not on the chat board, I
cold
swear.
busted.
I was doing other like stewardly things for the show, which I got to figuring out what thing I was supposed to say for Patreon.com. Is like blah, blah, blah.
Now let's keep the focus here, okay?
Okay.
Here's the
Right.
question. One may ask, Raghunath, how can we detain the Supreme Lord on this earth after his mission is fulfilled and he has left this earth for his own abode?
How can we do that? We can chant the holy name.
Okay, I like that answer.
Good answer.
Let's see how it holds up. The answer is that there's no need to detain the Lord. The Lord, being omnipresent, can be
Manifest in
present.
Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay, throwing that in there too.
Yeah.
The answer is that there's no need to detain the Lord, like
Deity
in other
worship.
words, in his personal form. The Lord, being omnipresent, can be present with us if we want him at all. By his omnipresence, he can always be with us if we are attached to his devotional service by hearing, chanting, remembering. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. Right?
Okay.
So you're right. Yes, by chanting, especially by chanting, more than anything by chanting. But there's a principle here that he's illustrating a principle that we want to be happy, right? And what's being kind of laid out here is that we are happy when we're connected to our divine source. The leaf is happy when it's connected to the tree. All over the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, Nitya yuktanam, satatam yuktanam, stay always connected to me. And then just like that leaf, it's nourished on the tree, right? It's healthy and vibrant. And when we feel that connection, the earth is saying Krishna's left and now everything sucks. It's like, and what Prabhupada is saying here is that we can always be connected, through hearing, through chanting, through devotional service, through reading Bhagavatam, through kirtan, So he goes on, there is nothing in the world with which the Lord is disconnected. There's nothing that we can see in existence that doesn't have an inherent connection to God, to the divine source. The only thing we must learn is to excavate the source of connection and thus be linked with him by a fenceless service. Okay. And here by offenseless, I think we can understand as pure service, without any separate motivation, without trying to usurp the position of God, but just out of love, right? The only thing we must learn is to excavate the source of connection and thus be linked with him by, let's say, pure service or offenseless service.
What are you doing here?
Huh?
That's what we're working on here. That's our
That's what we're
project.
working on. That's what we're working
You know,
on.
it's true. And, here we have, here up at Super Soul, Kaustubha was here this week, Bobby Marchand, all the students, Mara occasionally dropped in. But it was sort of like, it wasn't the people, it was what was coming out of the people's mouth. It was the kirtan. It was Damodar Priya was here. It was the stories, the leelas, the kirtan, the chanting, the information coming out of the mouth. That makes a place a holy place. Your apartment, your house can be a holy place by what comes out of your mouth. Jeff Eisenberg singing that kirtan on the guitar, that was just coming out of his mouth. Everybody chanting and hearing makes any place a holy place. Your yoga teacher, transform your yoga studio. It's got nothing to do with, oh yeah, we got this great space. It's a cool Brooklyn loft. Who cares? Cool Brooklyn loft. Nobody cares. We don't care. You know what makes that cool Brooklyn loft special? What comes out of your mouth as the teacher. And that's why it's important, I think, to add this kirtan or this chanting to your class if you're a yoga teacher. It transforms the room. It transforms their minds. The sounds which we hear on a regular basis create the atmosphere. Just like if you grew up in a household where there's a lot of chaos, a lot of noise, a lot of yelling, that affects us. It creates us. So we need to hear these mantras or these transcendental sounds, these spiritual lessons, this spiritual wisdom on a regular basis. And they need to be broadcast throughout our home, throughout and that's what a holy place is. Bring the holy name in. Thank you for that hot seat, Kaustubha.
There you go. We can make every place a holy place, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it doesn't
Through
have
transcendental
to be
sound,
right, and it doesn't have to be some cool. We have this cool space in Brooklyn. It could be a crappy strip mall in Scranton, Pennsylvania. That could be a holy place. What do you think of that, Scranton?
Is anybody here from
A
Scranton?
lot of Scranton references. Remember that, Mara, in the old days?
Yeah, you're always hard on Scranton.
Hey, this just in, and this should be on the cover of the New York Times today. Check this out. On Krishna's right foot are an 8-pointed star,
Okay.
a swastika,
Okay.
a wheel,
Mm-hmm.
and a parasol.
A parasol, an umbrella.
He has a little umbrella on his foot. A barley corn. I was close. I said an acorn.
Okay.
An elephant goad. Now, if you're unfamiliar with that, you might not have ridden an elephant before. But if you ride an elephant, you need a little pokey stick to give him a look. Come on, let's go. An elephant goad. A dvaja, or a flag. A thunderbolt. A jambu fruit. And a line traveling upwards. Never heard that. And a lotus. And a lotus. Well, that's his right foot. His left foot are half moon, not the yoga pose, a water pot, triangle, not a yoga pose, a bow,
not a yoga pose,
a cow's hoof print. I've never heard that. And a conch shell.
and a fish. Why did you skip the fish?
A fish. That's a lot. That's a colorful foot going on.
Yep, got special feet.
You know what I've got? I don't have a barley corn on my foot, but I have a corn.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole.
That is a very.
Nice.
She's like, thank Google. Thank Google, Maharaj.
Okay, let's jump back in. You ready?
Yeah.
So the last sentence says the only thing we must learn to just turn on the lights, to make this whole earth just vibrate in a beautiful, wonderful, happy way. The only thing we must learn is to excavate the source of connection and thus be linked with him by offenseless service.
That was a great way to say it. Say that again, that last sentence. Turn on the.
I don't know.
No, the last thing you just said. Excavate the source.
Oh, that's Prabhupada said that.
I know,
The
it's
only-
a great thing. I'm saying.
The only thing we must learn, we don't need to learn to create some kind of new factory. We don't need to learn to create some new event. The only thing we must learn is to excavate the source of connection and thus be linked with him by offenseless service, pure service. Now he goes on, we can be connected with him by the transcendental sound representation of the Lord. The holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical. The holy name of the Lord and the Lord of himself are identical, and one who chants the holy name of the Lord in an offenseless manner can at once realize that the Lord is present before him. Now, Prabhupada says something here, and I was looking it up, but I couldn't. Maybe there's a scientist here that can help. Even by the vibration of radio sound, we can partially realize sound relativity. Do you know anything about sound relativity, Raghunath? Mara, did
Well, I am a scientist, but
you? Yes. Of
I
course,
never
that's why I was asking
never
you.
studied the sound theory.
How about the theory of relativity in general, Raghunath?
No, I never studied that either.
You don't know anything about what it means.
No, I studied science fiction. That's what the science I studied.
Okay. Anyway, Prabhupada says, even by the vibration of radio sound, we can partially realize sound relativity, and by resounding the sound of transcendence, we can verily feel the presence of the Lord. In this age, when everything is polluted by the contamination of Kali, right? Nothing but hypocrisy, nothing but conflict.
Quarrel.
It is instructed in the scriptures and preached by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that by chanting the holy name of the Lord, we can at once be free from the contamination and gradually rise to the status of transcendence, go back to Godhead. The offenseless chanter of the holy name of the Lord is as auspicious as the Lord himself, because he's just vibrating the energy of God. And the movement of pure devotees of the Lord all over the world can at once change the troublesome face of the world.
I completely believe that.
I'm with it. I'm 100% with it. We just got to reconnect ourselves. Only by the propagation of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord can we be immune from the effects. Here's the inoculation that we need. Here's the vaccine that we need, right? More than anything. Can we be immune from the effects of the age of Kali? So it's saying that there is a principle in the yoga tradition that there is such a thing as transcendental sound, that there's spiritual energy, which is eternal and conscious, and there's material energy, which is always shifting forms and is in or unsentient. It has no consciousness. But that there's such a thing as sound that is pure spiritual energy. And it's the easiest way for us to reconnect with spirituality, with God. And so therefore we make it part of our daily practice to vibrate and meditate on spiritual sound. So as you were saying, you may have a beautiful, you get a new yoga studio and you got this beautiful loft and you've invested money in the whole thing, and but if you don't invest spiritual sound in that place, then its spirituality may be very superficial. But even if you got a dumpy little space, in a sense, right? But if you're investing spiritual sound sincerely, offenselessly, or let's say purely, if that intention is pure and you invest that spiritual sound, then that place will become the spiritual world and people will walk into that space and be transformed. So that spiritual sound is so powerful.
Potent.
There's but all of this commentary was reminding me of a very important part of the Bhagavatam. It was reminding me of two things. It was reminding me of going back to when we were reading the prayers of Queen Kunti in the 8th chapter. And she had that verse where she said, all these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance, and the trees are full of fruits, and the rivers are flowing. The hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth, and this is all due to your glancing over them. Right? It's just the idea that the presence of God is all auspicious. It's only because we disconnect, that inauspiciousness sets in. And so the life of the Bhakti-yogi is to create that presence of God in one way or another. And we can create it by sound, which is like through kirtan, through chanting, or through Bhagavatam. You mentioned deity worship at one point. I heard you sneak that in.
I was just like shooting in, trying to cover my bases.
But yeah, what is a temple? The idea is we are going to formally, in a concrete way, in a sense, establish the presence of God in a particular space and make that the focus of our attention and our thought. And then therefore people can come into this space and feel that presence and walk out of the space and carry that presence with them, you know. So the idea is one way or another, through sound, through deity worship, you know, through the sound of Bhagavatam, through sound of mantra, through service, that one recreates or reestablishes that connection or that presence of Krishna in that space. And that when we're talking about that connection, it brings me to what's called the Chatushloki of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Mera hot seat. What does Chatushloki mean?
The 4 like shlokas that are the essence of the Gita.
Boy, Kaustubha's really got the hot seat gun going.
I don't know. It's Monday. I just feel like you could turn it on me at any time, you know. But yeah, 4 shlokas. So the Bhagavad Gita has this Chatushloki. Raghunath hot seat. What are the 4 shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita that are the Chatushloki?
10:8, 10:9, 10:10, 10:11.
Yes. Boom. You see, you're on the ball. I'm making you look good with this hot seat. And in the Bhagavatam, it comes in the 9th chapter of the 2nd canto. And this is one of the 4 shlokas that I'm going to read. Okay.
Now, can you say that you want to just explain, like, this is the original Bhagavatam and then it was elaborated from here? Is that true, or is Bhagavatam just eternal?
You're saying that were these 4 verses the original Bhagavatam and then it expanded from there?
Or is the Bhagavatam eternal?
Well, you know, they even say it's within the Gayatri Mantra, it's within the fluid of Krishna. I that's something worth investigating. You put me on the hot seat now.
No, it was just a question. That was not a hot seat.
I don't know.
Let's get to the bottom of what a hot seat means. Hot seat means I know the answer to a question, and I'm going to put it on Mara, and Mara's going to answer it and get it wrong. Then I'll give her the appropriate answer. Okay. I'm allowed to ask a question that's not considered putting you on the hot seat. Okay. So that was the question. I don't know.
I am saying I'm not sure, but let's investigate it.
Okay, we're going to check that out.
But these are verses spoken by Lord Vishnu to Lord Brahma, the first being in the universe. And he says, "Oh Brahma, now there's so much in this, right? It's the Chatushloka, the 18,000 verses of the Bhagavatam, which are like the elaboration on the Vedanta Sutra. It's like everything you need to know is there. These 4 verses are summarizing the whole thing, so we can understand this verse is really important. There's a clue here to life in general that's like really fundamental." So he says, "O Brahma," the Lord Vishnu speaking, "what appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears in the darkness." Okay, that reflection. In other words, when we see something disconnected from God, it's operating as illusory energy. When we reconnect it, even the material energy, when we reconnect it, it begins to act spiritually and reveal truth rather than illusion. Now so what it's saying is, like, as we go through life, everything we should just try to reconnect it. Everything we should see in relation to God. Here's the commentary. In the previous verse, it has already been concluded that at any stage of the cosmic manifestation, its appearance, its sustenance, its growth, its interactions of different energies, its deterioration and its disappearance, right? The universe is going to go through all those stages. All has its basic relation with the existence of the personality of Godhead. It's all his energy. It's all working under his direction. And as such, whenever there is forgetfulness of this prime relation with the Lord, when I look at this energy and I think, oh, let me enjoy it. Oh, let me manipulate it in some way. I look at the sun, I don't think of God. I look at the river, I don't think of God. You know, I look at the body of another person, I don't think of God. Right? So as such, whenever there's forgetfulness of this prime relation, let's say our connection with the Lord, and whenever things are accepted as real without being related to the Lord, that conception is called the product of the illusory energy of the Lord. Because nothing can exist without the Lord, it should be known that the illusory energy is also an energy of the Lord. The right conclusion of dovetailing everything in the relationship with the Lord is called Yoga-māyā, or the energy of union. Okay? And the wrong conception of detaching a thing from its relationship with the Lord is called the Lord's Deity-māyā, or mahā-māyā. So there's Yoga-māyā and then there's mahā-māyā. Yoga-māyā means he uses the term dovetailing, right? What does dovetailing mean? I think the dove's tail must be like pointed. Mary?
Never thought of that. I just took dovetailing as a word with a meaning, but I never thought how it actually applies to the dove.
Are you looking it up, Mary? Dovetailing?
Look up source of dovetailing.
I'm assuming the dove's tail is like a point. So it means I bring everything towards that central point, towards God.
Never thought of this.
Okay, let's look into dovetailing right now.
Oh,
it's a woodworking term, Bob says.
Yeah.
Woodworking term.
You got anything, Mary?
Well, the definition is
when two corners.
Yeah. A joint formed by one or more tapered projections on one piece which interlocked with corresponding notches or recesses in another. Okay. And then the verb is joined together by means of a dovetail, fit or cause to fit together easily and conveniently.
Okay, so it's connecting two things at the very least. And the word tapering seems to even mean that it's like we're kind of coming together.
Not actually having
anything
to do with
maybe you can Google an image of a dove's tail and see if it reveals anything.
You know what? I'm so happy we learned this. I've been saying dovetailing for years.
That's one of those words you never used before you came to Srila Prabhupada's commentaries.
Yeah, I know. Prabhupada's
maybe the woodwork.
Educating me.
Yeah. So let's get this straight again. So the right conclusion of dovetailing everything in relationship with the Lord is called Yoga-māyā. That means I see everything in connection with God, and now I'm walking around in reality, not illusion. That's called Yoga-māyā, the energy of union. Literally, that's what Yoga-māyā means, the energy of union. And the wrong conception of detaching a thing from its relationship with the Lord is called the Lord's Deity-māyā, or mahā-māyā. Both the Mayas also have connection with the Lord because nothing can exist without being related to him. As such, the wrong conception of detaching relationships from the Lord is not false, but illusory. Right? Now, we're talking about reflections here. That's the verse again was, know it to be my illusory energy, right? Whatever appears to be of any value, if it is, let's say, if it is seen without relation to me, it has no reality. Now you're an illusion. As soon as you see it separate from me, you've entered into illusion. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in the darkness. Like if I look in a mirror and I see my reflection, it's not that the mirror doesn't exist. The mirror exists, the surface of the glass exists, the light on the glass exists. But if I think that's me, then I'm in illusion, right? Because it's just a reflection of me. And so this material world does exist.
How to live this?
You gotta live it. The way you live it is by constantly hearing this and reflecting on it, right? Then you naturally want to live it.
I wonder how much my life would radically change if I really dialed it in, like 100% all the time. Would I be just like floating through? Would I still embrace my children?
Yes,
would I still hug and kiss my wife? Would I still go to? Right?
But you would see them. You would dovetail them, right? You would see your family and your property and all of that.
Nothing.
As Krishna's
dust. Krishna's dust.
Dust. Where'd that come from? Dust.
I don't know. Just like it's nothing, meaning it's temporary. It's not even here. That's what I'm thinking. Like, how would that radically change?
Now let's continue with this commentary. It's about illusion, the nature of this world, in the way in which we can understand it as being illusory. Not that it doesn't exist, but how it becomes illusion is when we misidentify it or disconnect it. Misconceiving one thing for another is called illusion, right? For example, accepting, and this is the classic example in Vedanta. For example, accepting a rope as a snake is illusion. But the rope is not false, right? I see a rope and I think, oh my God, there's a snake. I get and I get fear, right? I experience fear. But it's not that there's no rope. There is a rope, but I'm misidentifying it as a snake. It says, The rope, as it exists in the front of the illusioned person, is not at all false, but the acceptance is illusory. Therefore, the wrong conception of accepting the material manifestation as being divorced from the energy of the Lord is illusion, but it is not false. So the world does exist. Some philosophers will tell us it doesn't exist. It's like 100% illusion. He's saying, no, it exists, but we're misidentifying it. And this illusory conception is called the reflection of the reality in the darkness of ignorance. Anything that appears as apparently not being produced out of my energy is called Maya. And by Maya, that means Krishna's energy. Anything that appears as apparently not being produced out of Krishna's energy, I see it and I just think of it in terms of my own exploitation for my own separate pleasure. I don't see, oh, that's God's energy. He's saying that's called Maya or illusion. The conception that the living entity is in is a form. The conception that the living entity is formless, or that the Supreme Lord is formless, is also illusion. In the Bhagavad Gita 2:12, it was said by the Lord in the midst of the battlefield, hot seat. 2:12, Raghunath.
212. Oh. Not Deva Hamjatu Nasham Natvam Nemi Janatipa Nachavana Bhavishyama Sarvabhyam Taparam.
Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be.
Look, she's checking up. But she's happy. She's happy that I got it right.
She is, because she's
I was going to give you
pure-hearted.
the first word if you needed it.
You see, she's serving, Raghunath. You thinking she's like testing him. No, she was there to serve. So he says, in the Bhagavad Gita 2:12, it was said by the Lord in the midst of the battlefield that the warrior standing in front of Arjuna himself, and even the Lord had all existed before. They were existing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and they would all continue to be individual personalities in the future also, even after the annihilation of the present body, and even after being liberated from the bondage of material existence. In all circumstances, the Lord and the living entity are individual personalities, and the personal features of both the Lord and the living entities are never abolished, only the influence of the illusory energy. So it's not that we find reality by annihilating our existence, emerging into a oneness. But once we understand this world as it is, we understand this is the Lord's energy, this is another energy of the Lord, I'm an energy of the Lord, you're an energy of the Lord, and we're individual. And we just need to remove the illusion. So he says, the reflection of light in the darkness can, by the mercy of the Lord, be removed. It's nice stuff, right?
It's beautiful.
This is a long commentary, but this is just fundamental principle. We started reading today, and the earth is saying, the Dharma is saying to the earth, why are you suffering? Could it be that it's because Krishna's left? And then she says, you know what? I was or maybe it was Dharma the bull saying, you had that special blessing that even no other planet in the universe had, that Krishna was present on you. And she said, yes, Krishna was here, and he had all these qualities. I think it listed 40 qualities that we read today, and as he's left, these qualities have left the earth, and I'm suffering. And so then the question becomes, well, is there a way that we can revive that presence and feel the happiness that one feels when they're connected? And we're hearing that, yes, that can be done through hearing, that can be done through chanting, that can be done through living that dharmic life. And when we do that, the way that we do that, the vision that we have as we move through the world when we're doing that, is that we're seeing everything. We're not mistaking any energy as being separate, that's mine, right? It's not that we have to become cold, but we have to see this world isn't meant for me to enjoy separately. I actually become happy when I reconnect everything. And that the great example that's always used for that is Hanuman, right? That Ravana saw Sita and said, oh, I'm going to take her from me. He saw her as disconnected from Ram. Whereas it's not that Hanuman didn't appreciate all of Sita's qualities and her beauty and all of that, but he didn't see it as for him. He reconnected, his mission was to reconnect Sita with Ram. And in doing so, he felt the natural bliss of the soul that you only feel through bhakti, that you only feel through devotional service. The true nature of the self comes out, and then naturally you feel happy.
And Prabhupada uses that simple and beautiful example of the hand. The hand has enjoyment in relationship to the body. You pick up a piece of fruit. The hand serves the mouth. The fruit nourishes the entire body. The hand becomes happy from the nourishment of the body. It doesn't exist separate from the whole. If you were to lacerate, cut the hand from the body, and just, you walk into a room one day, a living room, and I just see Kaustubha's hand. Wah! That same very beautiful hand of Kaustubha would become ghastly, right? So if we see a hand disconnected from the body, that same hand, you might have a very beautiful hand. That hand becomes grotesque. When the living being is not seeing themselves and working as part of something bigger, and they are just sort of isolated, and it's about me, we become ghastly. We become our life, our endeavor. It just becomes all about our ego. It's ugly. And when we start to see like Ravana, and then Hanuman, he sees himself in relationship to Ram, and therefore everything, all of his actions, I'm here to serve Lord Ram. And the same person, in one sense, you have Ravana, who's a mystic siddhi, has all mystic siddhis, great yogi, and then you have the mahā-yogi Hanuman. But Hanuman, every endeavor, every thought, every action is to please Lord Ram. It's quite beautiful. Hanuman's life is quite beautiful, and that's.
Where's Robin's life? It went downhill.
He dies a horrible death.
Okay. Crank it up, Raghu. It's time.
It's time! And me and Kaustubha are having a play date today in New York City.
Yeah.
Get ready for pillow fights.
Hey, important announcement.
Cookie baking.
And, it's hot down here, Raghu. It's like gonna be 107 degrees real cool down here.
Hot in the city. Hot in the city tonight. With me, Kaustubha.
So there's an announcement that today for our Patreon members, there's an Ayurveda workshop with Madhu. Everybody loves Madhu, right? How can you not love that guy?
What time is that?
Nara, what time is
1
that?
p.m.
1 p.m. Eastern time.
1 p.m.?
Yep.
Okay.
Great. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on this Makeover Monday on Wisdom of the Sages. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is for people who want to go deeper into the yoga, wisdom, and culture that we discuss on the show. We are listener supported. Any level of sponsorship will open up a wide range of classes, talks, and workshops by Kaustubha and myself and other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, yoga asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more. So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages and unlock a bundle. Unlock your secret bundle of goodies. Jai Shri Krishna Bolo Jai Radhe. Thanks for all you dedicated Zoomers. It's quite impressive. People waking up and listening to the Bhagavatam every day. Despite the fact that it's a pandemic and you have nothing to do. But I appreciate it. Now, some of you guys have stuff to do. Some of you guys have more to do. But some of you really have nothing to do. So we're glad you're here. I feel like the pandemic has given our spiritual life a little kickstart. What do you think, Kaustubha?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, come on. Shirad. Also, if you want to reach out and join Zoom, if you're one of the others out there just listening, driving in your car, maybe you listen to this thing a couple times, 3 times, join us live on Zoom. It's a whole little thing where we get to look at each other and wave, send each other private chat messages. Here, you got to email Mara, and she will give you the secret codes. You got to go to email her, Mara. I love this part. I want to sing. I wish I could sing like this. Email Mara, wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com.